Hey everybody, this is Paul and Sherry, and we're doing our trip recap to the Secrets and Dreams at Vallarta Bay. And I'm going to include in this video some other travel tips beyond just what happens at the resort. So let's get into the resort. It is a Secrets and Dreams combined. It's a rather small resort. And here is the layout from our 14th floor balcony. And what we see is the resort is actually part secrets, part dreams, and it's essentially divided right down the middle. You can access the two either from the beach or through the lobby. On the dream side of the resort, let's go ahead and get that out of the way. You see a number of pools. So there by the beach is the main pool. There have two side-by-side kids pools because Dreams is a family-friendly resort. Secrets adults only. There's also another activity pool, and then off into the distance, there's the swim out pools for the preferred building. Up front, both buildings, Dreams and Secrets, have an indoor and outdoor dining area on what we would call the Market Cafe. That we would know that as the buffet. The food was outstanding at both. And then there's also a lobby area where you can sit at some tables, just relax, look over the scenery. By all means, watch the sunset come down over the Pacific Ocean. You will love it. Other thing I'll point out up here at the top, just to give you an idea of where you are in the city, just beyond those high rises, literally beyond those high rises, is Puerto Magico. This is where the cruise ships come in. This is also about 2.5 miles away from the resort. This is also where you will go if you're taking any of the excursions to go snorkeling, to go to Rhythms of the Night, or to go to the Hidden Beach excursion. You pick up your boats and your shuttle boats from Puerto Magico, about a $5 cab ride from the resort. Let's take a look at the secret side of things. Same picture, divided down the middle. So there is the main swimming pool right by the ocean, and it's followed up with an activity pool. And again, on the secret side, there is the buffet indoor and outdoor seating area. We have the same amount of seating in our lobby overlooking the bay, but it does isolate you from the kids and the family friendly group of Dreams. And down the middle is an elevated second store event patio. So there are lots of weddings taking place there, and the weddings and other private events happen up there on that patio. Other than that, there's really no reason to go up there. And you can't see it, but I'll show it to you soon as I do a walkthrough at the pool level. There is a preferred building off to the side for secrets. Notice if you are used to the secrets resorts, there is no preferred area. There are no preferred restaurants, no preferred swimming pools, no preferred areas on the beach. It is almost strange that they would offer preferred buildings other than the amenities within the building and the mini bar. There's really nothing to pay for a preferred upgrade at this resort. And if you were thinking about that, go ahead and save your money. So let's get into things that happen at the pool layer. I'm going to go ahead now and cut in my GoPro tour of when we walked around, but you see that they're always doing something by the pool, which is really nice. This particular day was tequila tasting, and Mobile Paul, take it away. I hope this video works.
All right, so here we are at ground level. We got some tequila tasting going on by the pool, which is fun for the whole family. This is the preferred building. It's the only preferred perk there is in the entire resort. A hot tub, and adjacent to the hot tub is a pool that has the tiled body lounges in it. We'll see one as soon as we go around this corner. You get an idea of what I'm talking about. There we go. Very nice. So all these filtration systems are being recovered from the damages of the hurricane. Here's the resort view from the back. Here's the main pool over there. And we're heading out onto the beach. So what I wanted to show in this video, some of the things that you don't see. By the way, if you ever want to do an on-the-beach massage at the resort, this is the cabana there where they do it. I'll show you this one as we venture past out onto the grounds. This is where the vendors line up to accost you throughout the entire day. They're very nice if you tell them to go away, but they are rather persistent and omnipresent. But see, beyond that umbrella, there's some blue tables. That is where Norma and Vicky do their massages. $50 for a 50-minute, 60-minute massage. They are amazing. We did those yesterday. Norma and Vicky run as separate companies, but if a couple shows up, they agree to share each other's work so a couple can get their massage done at the same time. Here's the view from the beach. Got our Dreams building, have our Secrets building, have our Preferred building. And a lot of people said, let me go put my flip-flops with my honey bears. A lot of people have said, wear shoes on the beach, it's very rocky. Well, these are the rocks we see. No different than if you went to a beach that had seashells. And you can see that this is a very sandy beach. I don't understand what the issue is about needing sand shoes, because it's very sandy, it's very nice. But I can show you, here you can tell where this break is, that this beach drops suddenly in about 10 feet. And we are, we're out in the water. Actually, it hasn't dropped. Oh, there it goes now. So we're about this far from shore. We're about this far from shore, which I'm going to say is about 10 feet beyond the breakers. And the beach dropped about 2.5 feet. So just be ready for that. But you can swim out here. Wonderful. Very nice people, very nice resort.
All right, so now let me go ahead and do some follow-up to that video. Again, I'm just going to say it. Norma and Vicky were very, very nice. We have always done the couples massages when we go to the Secrets resorts. They're a little pricey. Norma and Vicky at $50 a piece, it's a no-brainer, folks. Go on down and visit them. They'll actually show up next to the swimming pool. They can't come onto the grounds. They'll walk right up to the wall that separates the resort from the beach, though, along with all the other vendors, and you could schedule your massage with them. Uh, we did return to the ocean to swim, and a couple of times we went down in that little area where the breakers are, where the surf is churning. We did find some areas on the beach that did have a lot of round, smooth edge river stones, but a lot of stones. So we do understand why people on the Facebook page were saying to take water shoes to the beach. You can get away without it, but if your feet are a little sensitive, then water shoes actually would be a good idea. I didn't mention it in my little video tour, but the ocean was incredibly warm. You walked right in. It was the warmest ocean I've ever experienced. It was probably in the high 80 degrees, almost like unheard of as far as I'm concerned for ocean temperature. And I do want to point out, I mentioned it in the video, there's nothing in this resort for the preferred guests. Maybe the preferred rooms are a little nicer, but beyond that, I didn't see any value even going into the preferred lounge, which is off to the side. The food was no different than you could get at any of the coffee shops. The liquor was the same. I looked behind the bar. I saw no value at all. And even though I am a relatively high level UVC vacation club member who gets preferred privileges, there's really nothing worth the preferred upgrade at this resort. let's talk about our excursions. So we did three. We went to Hidden Beach, which is what you see in the photograph here. We did the Rhythms of the Night. It's kind of a Cirque du Soleil show, followed up by an all-you-can-eat dinner and open bar. Um, Hour or so. And then there was a city tour, departed right from the resort, took you to multiple stops in the city. You do have to pay for your own lunch, and then there is a really nice tequila tasting. And we're going to throw some pictures in here to talk about these excursions if you're interested in them, starting with Hidden Beach. Now, Hidden Beach is actually a sunken volcanic crater. So you're going to swim through a cave to get to this beach inside a volcano's crater, which is really, really cool. Um, Departs from Puerto Magico, it's only about a $5 cab ride. When you get to the port, you have to go and buy some kind of tax. You got to pay some kind of tax just for using the port and going to the island, and then you go over to the Vallarta Adventures desk and get your ticket to get onto the uh, boat that's going to shuttle you out to any of these excursions. No one over age 60 is allowed. We're going to show you some pictures, and I'll explain that in a minute. It is a cave swim. You do have to go through a cave to get there, and then you have a limited amount of time inside the crater. They say that's for preserving the ecology, or the resources. In reality, it comes down to how many other excursions from other tour groups are waiting to come in. And then when you get done swimming into the cave, out of the cave, it is a good rest to sit on the boat after all that swimming, and they fill that time doing some bird watching around the island. At any time, there's about 40 different migratory species coming in and out. And if you care about the birds, and that's kind of interesting. And then they'll take you to another island, literally 3 minutes away, and you do some snorkeling. So here's some pictures. This is a picture of how far off the coast they kick you out of the boat, and you do have to swim to get to the cave. Now, you don't see how small that cave is till you get close to it. But I'm going to tell you, this is why no one over age 60 is allowed. Even though you have a helmet on to get through the cave and you have a life preserver, it's a pretty good swim. So you need to be physically capable in order to make this trek. This is the cave you have to go through, and you can see that little crack of light up ahead is why you're wearing a crash helmet. So you do have to go in. Of course, the ocean is surging up and down, and yes, it is completely normal to bonk your head on the surface of the cave to get inside. Once you get inside, the tour there at the beach is incredible. Afterwards, there's some snorkeling to be done. Here's a picture dead center of the first moray eel I've seen. So I've been on several snorkeling trips. This one had some really pretty fish, but this was the first time I saw a moray. Rhythm of the Night. That was the next excursion we did out of Puerto Magico. It's about a 40-minute boat ride, so it's a good 5 hour chunk of your day. 40 minutes over. The Cirque du Soleil show is sweltering hot. Please be properly hydrated. And then it's followed by dinner and drinks. You can pay for VIP seating, which gives you actual tables and chairs right up front as part of the part of the show. Otherwise, you're just sitting on general admission amphitheater benches, not what you would call comfortable, but hey, it is what it is. So the other tour we did was called the City Tour. Now we got this comped to us at Secrets. I don't know if it was because we were UVC club members, or if we just sweet talk them, or it's just something that they do. Either way, even if we had to pay for it, I thought it was pretty nice. It did take you around the city, and you realize that Puerto Vallarta is actually an incredibly friendly city. It is the only city that we've been to in all of our travels, and I think we've done quite a bit of traveling, where we would be very comfortable leaving the resort and going off on our own and doing so without fear of criminal activity, etc. So the city tour was really nice. They loaded us into a van. They took us to several locations. What you see here on the screen is the Malecon. This is the concrete sidewalk and stores and restaurants and bars that just follows the water edge. So this is really, really nice. Other thing that we did after this, they took us to a leather shop. They took us to a jewelry store. They took us to a candy store. They took us to the flea market in town, loaded with touristy stuff, right? And everything, by the way, in Puerto Vallarta, you negotiate your price. So come with pesos and be prepared to negotiate your prices on anything you see. But it really was a great, friendly city. Then they took us about, I don't know, half an hour drive into the jungle, where you see us here in the jungle with this beautiful river. We're standing on a suspension bridge, and we ate at the OK Corral, which was this local place that offered this platter you see on the screen. This was, by the way, $77 US, the platter for two. It is a whole red snapper, some filet of mahi mahi, some chicken, two different preparations of shrimp, and a lobster split down the middle. This was so delicious. We recommend the platter for two at the OK Corral for your lunch. It was so good. And then they loaded us back into our little van, drove us about 50 yards back up the road, and we stopped here at the Tequila Gusto del Rey. So we went in, saw how tequila is made, did a tequila tasting, and even if you're like me, I am not a tequila drinker. But this tequila was so good. So we did three flavors of straight up tequila, and then they went into the blends of flavored tequilas, which were so delicious. They didn't taste like tequila at all. Please drink as many shots. They'll give you as many shots as you ask for. Knock yourself out. I will tell you that the bottles that they sell here, especially the flavored stuff, are more like touristy uh, bottles. They're only about 13.5% alcohol by volume, which is low for a tequila, and they're about $30 a bottle, and you can take home as many as you like. You can get them through customs because they're kind of designated as a touristy bottle, not really, where you would go into the duty-free shop and buy bottles of high-end tequila that you would have to declare, et cetera, et cetera. So here's my closing thoughts. If you're still with us 17 minutes into this video, let's go ahead and talk about what we've got. Puerto Vallarta, incredibly friendly city. In fact, as I mentioned earlier, many people leave the resort and venture off on their own, and this is the only city that I've been to where I actually feel comfortable doing that myself. Uh, Please use pesos. The shop owners, you could do this whole trip on US dollars. You can do this whole trip using your credit card. Make sure your credit card doesn't charge you for foreign transaction fees. But the shop owners negotiate in pesos. They get charged a high conversion fee when they take their money to the bank. So you'll pay probably 17 to 1 if you use American dollars. So, go to this place knowing that you're in Mexico, go ahead and use the Mexico currency. You'll get your best prices. This Secrets Resort also had the least amount of entertainment that we've had at any of the Secrets Resorts. Um, we're used to seeing, a special show at 9 o'clock every night. At this resort, yeah, they had something going on one night with a three-piece band. Another night they did like a game show. There's an amphitheater area over in Dreams for other shows, but there's really not a lot of nightlife at the resort, which we found to be very different from all the other secrets we've been to. And I think a lot of that is because so many people do venture off into their on their own into the city of Puerto Vallarta. It's only about a $5 US cab ride to get from the resort back down to the Malecon, and I think a lot of people went there on their own, which is why Secrets doesn't really feel compelled to do too much nightly entertainment. But there's always something. The resort is small. As I said, you have to go back and forth between Dreams and Secrets just to get to the different restaurants. But everywhere we went, the people were so bend over backwards, making sure that we were having a great experience. The service and the food were amazing. Even though some of these restaurants, like there's always a Mexican restaurant and an Italian restaurant and the French restaurant when you go to the Secrets resorts. But for some reason, everything that I had tasted amazing, and I thought the food and the service here was great. The only other place that would have service as good as what we got here was when we went to Secrets Cap Cana in the Dominican Republic. And it is, if you go back and listen to my tour when I walked around at the swimming pool areas, this is the loudest Secrets we've been to. So they had music playing all the time up by the activity pool. It was, upbeat dance club, Mexican hip hopish, not really my style, but it became background noise eventually. But I will point out it was the loudest Secrets we've ever been to, which was kind of different. Maybe they're trying to tailor themselves to draw a younger crowd. And most importantly, the question that really matters after coming here, would you go back? And the answer is yes. Sherry and I will be returning to Secrets Vallarta Bay. It was an amazing experience. And for those of you who are UVC Club members searching for a good one-for-one resort. Now, if you're not a club member, you don't know what that means, and don't just ignore me. But if you're searching for a good one-for-one resort, Vallarta Bay is a must-do on your Secrets travel list. Hey, everybody, 21 minutes in. Thank you so much if you're still watching. I hope this was valuable to you, and I enjoy your life cruising the world, seeing the world, stopping at Secrets Vallarta Bay. Thanks.